Hey there, I'm Becca. This is Keith. And this is our home, Vagari, which means to wander. And that's the plan, to wander around the world on our sailboat. Well, it's hurricane season, which means we're mostly in one spot long enough to work on projects. So, you care to share?
This is a really well-built boat. This is one of the known structural issues with this boat. It has something called oil canning on some of the early boats, and essentially that means the front of the boat, the hull, will kind of flex back and forth like a pencil whip wobbling. And what that creates is some wear and tear, and eventually wears the shelves out, and then the shelves break, and we obviously spent the last year beating, and so that problem manifested itself and broke these shelves several times that we had to repair. But got onto the Pearson website and started looking into it, and it was a really known issue, and I'd say half of these boats have aftermarket repairs already done to solve this problem. Essentially, you got to make it more rigid. And this boat specifically is a solid hull, so there's no coring, which means it's a little bit stronger, but it's not as rigid, and so it will flex more. So what we are doing is we listened to the actual designer of this boat, and he suggested you add a coring inside on this area. And so what we are doing is we have stripped the vinyl off, and then we are stripping the glue off, and this is bare fiberglass, and on the outside is the hull. And it's about that thick with straight fiberglass, which is strong enough, but it will flex. And so what we're going to do is we don't have balsa wood here, but we got something called honeycomb, and it's a little bit better. It's a polymer, so it won't rot. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to epoxy that to the hull, and it's going to have a slight bend, and we'll press it on, and then we're going to put 2 layers of fiberglass over that, and then we'll cover it with either vinyl or something, and that will create, for this section right here, a much more rigid hull. And even though the above and below that aren't cored, because this middle section is cored, the oil canning, which needs the whole side of the hull to be able to create that wobble, won't allow it to create that oil canning effect. And I believe that's why the designer suggested this as the aftermarket repair. So we're in the process of doing it. I am using this is a pretty cheap project to date so far. I've not spent any money. I had a wire wheel left over. We bought this to drill holes in the coupler, and so I've essentially been using a wire wheel or a wire cup, which works slightly better, and basically gumming all of this glue. This is all glue that has been ripped off it, but I don't want to use sandpaper. One, I'd go through a lot of sandpaper, and 2, I would make a holy god mess with sandpaper. So, because we live on a boat and the breeze comes out, it would blow it all through the boat. So basically, I'm just using a wire wheel to take the glue off, and then we're going to go from there.
Right. And you have all your tools. Most importantly, I see
The beer.
that tool.
Yeah, there's definitely the beer, which makes it tolerable to do this work. This is not pleasant work.
No.
I have a long sleeve shirt on, this, and this mask on.
Yeah,
because even though it's not creating a lot of dust, fiberglass is gnarly, man. That shit it particleizes quickly, and once it gets in the air, it'll float around everywhere, go in your lungs, get on your skin, make you all itchy. So I usually wear a long sleeve shirt and mask.
Okay, well, back at it, I guess.
There you go.
So, it just started raining, and Keith's taking a break from his project, and decided he needed meat because he's hungry, and then...
This is going to be my snack.
Well, we can't barbecue. This is your snack. We can't barbecue outside because it's raining, so the George Foreman is out, and
That's an advertisement for George Foreman. That's like
there is not
a kilo of meat right there, and there is no unused
there
grill
is not
space.
a centimeter, millimeter of unused grill space there. Good job. Do you care for some vegetables to go with that?
No poison.
Yeah. Bosun, you want to bite a steak? Say, I'm sure you do, huh? You're a lazy dog today. So we come to the lumber yard to buy lumber to make ribs for the V-berth to reinforce it. And of course we find a pile of scrap wood that they just don't need or want, so works for us. So leave it up to us to find the free scraps that nobody needs or wants. Don't you feel like this is typical us?
Yeah, it's definitely us. Alright.
Taking trash and turning it into turning it into our treasure.
Yeah.
You think you can carry all that back to the dinghy?
I can get it on here. I got it. It's not heavy. It's really not that heavy.
Okay. Alright, so we got the free wood for the ribs, and then we just bought a bunch of planks to go across the ribs for basically aesthetics, because you need something to build a wall. So we're gonna use more wood. Kind of do like wooden slats, I guess, down the hull. Now we just gotta walk back to the dinghy and oh, right. We need to stop and pick up some epoxy at the marine store. So one more stop and then the dinghy and then the boat. Bo's back on the boat waiting for us, so I'm sure he'll be anxious to play when we get back. Successfully got the wood in the dinghy, so we're getting there.
Yeah. Epoxy resin.
Oh yeah, we picked up the resin too, or the epoxy.
So far we're in for about a quarter of a boat buck right now. A little less than a quarter of a boat buck.
For those that don't know what a boat buck is, do you want to tell them?
It's $1,000 US. I'm gonna say you're gonna like this so much that you're eventually gonna have to do the after.
Really? You think I'm gonna like the look of all the wood planks?
I think you're gonna love it.
I don't know. There's a lot of wood on our boat already, so
yeah.
I kind of like.
It's gonna make it warm. It's gonna make it real warm up there.
Yeah. I think you like warm. I like bright and like white, clean look.
Okay, yeah.
Aesthetically, I think we have different preferences. Bosun, we're home. Hey, buddy.
Hi, buddy.
Good boy.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi. Making cuts in the back side. So again, this is a vertical piece, but we cut some little slots in it to allow for it to flex against the hull. Since this actually isn't providing the structural support, it's actually going to be the fiberglass that is laid over the top of this, and it creates a channeling effect, and it makes it really, really solid like a rib. And so that's what we're just using. This is essentially just a spacer that is going to be used to drill the lateral sheets on. But the idea here is to put 4 of these across here, fiberglass them in, and then lay that redwood that we got the slatting across. We're gonna have to do it one side at a time. When I do this, I'm gonna epoxy against that, press it against that, lay a layer of mat over it after it sticks, and then we're gonna put a layer of tabbing along the underside of this shelf. I love the Pearson boat, but I have no idea why they did not do that initially.
Let's see if I can show you. So the last couple days as we've been starting this project, it's just, obviously everything in the V-berth has to come out. So we've just got a whole bunch of stuff there. We had bought groceries in the meantime, and these are all our fluids, liquids that usually live down in this area, but we can't get to it, so they're just living there, and poor little Bosun is just napping wherever he can find room. But he's a good pup and he's staying out of the way, so he has plenty of toys and treats and things to entertain himself with. Not to mention all the boat traffic that goes by. He can just, you know, stare at that and bark at people. So he's happy. He doesn't care. Alright, so once you get that one propped, then we can start gluing them in place, epoxying them in place.
Epoxy them into place, that's the plan. I gotta figure out find a way to shim this.
So the epoxy cured?
The epoxy has cured and hardened, and I put a little fiberglass strip there to hold them, and basically these have been kind of formed to the hole now, and then we're going to basically do 2 full layers of that across these, and that's actually what's going to give the strength to
The fiberglass will.
the fiberglass, and then this wood just becomes the thing that we drill the slats into. So now the next real hard part is do the same thing on the other side, and then after we get that done, it's just a couple coats of glass, which is kind of messy work, but it's not really hard. And then the nice, beautiful finishing piece will be the fun part, which is sliding on those beautiful slats.
Nice. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Alright, so now copy and paste.
Copy and paste, yeah. Yeah, everything on the boat's exactly symmetrical, so I'm sure it'll go exactly perfectly smooth.
No sarcasm.
Yeah, right.
Well, both sides are done in terms of getting the ribs in place and fiberglass laid over the wood. So the fiberglass will act more as the strength, and the wood kind of is just going to allow us to screw in all these slats that'll be running horizontal. They got a little wet because they got caught in a rain shower outside, so they're in here trying to dry out. But yeah, so it's this nice, see if I can flip one over here, nice redwood. And we're going to put those up horizontally, so we're going to do that. We have to run to the store and see about getting the right kind of screws for that. And then we're going to see about replacing that hatch in the front there with something that is watertight, because our chain comes down into there and water can splash out. So we got to make that watertight if we can. And then probably throw another fresh coat of white paint on the old white surfaces, just because it's been a while, been a few years, so try to tidy it up. Making progress. What day of the project are we on, you think?
Oh, 4? Day 4 probably?
Day 4?
Yeah.
Alright, and the chaos continues.
The chaos continues. Probably for one more day. I think we'll get most of it done today.
And then we can start putting stuff back where it belongs.
Tomorrow we'll probably be able to put it all back together.
Yeah. So we still have groceries that are sitting out because they can't get into their storage spots and everything.
Still eating them.
I know, we're like slowly drinking the
through
fluids. Like a milk is gone, a couple sparkling waters are gone, a few juices have been drunk, so you know, that's good. And then yeah, all that has to go back, so pretty much. And then the V-berth, of course, is under construction, so we have our galley that we can use and our aft cabin. And everything else is pretty much...
22-foot boat into about a 22-foot boat.
Yeah. That's alright. Just for a few days till the project's done.
Alrighty. Well,
It's almost installed. Or it pretty much is installed, huh?
yeah, this is the waterproof hatch. The reason we did this is we punched this hole through and lowered our chain. It used to factory set up on the deck. That's a lot of weight up high, and also I wanted that deck locker space, so we punched the hole through and dropped it down here. But in doing that, this locker became a lot wetter than it was because now you have intrusions from the deck where the chain comes through in the hose pipe. Despite having, you know, a plug up there and stuff to try to do that, still going to get water in it. So we're changing out the old hatch, which was an old wooden hatch, to a watertight sealed hatch that we found. It was about the right size. Had to make some slight modifications.
Although you want to look at the door once we add the mattress, isn't going to quite
That's
fit.
okay.
Ooh, that looks nice though.
Because most of the time,
It'll be
it's
closed.
going to be just like that.
Yeah, yeah, and then you just lift up the mattress if we really need to get in
You
there.
get in there, and that looks so much cleaner.
That looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the wood looks nice too, but
I did, but this is
as far
just
as having to do an addition,
functionality,
yeah, it looks good. Cool. I like it. All right, well, and the fiberglass is curing.
These are all hard here. These two over here are still a little bit tacky because I had to lay them afterwards. I've got this tabbed underneath. I love it. So that's tabbed now, so this shelf is not going to break like it had been. It's coming together nicely. I'm excited to see what this redwood looks like.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. Not even 7. It's like 6:45. You ready to do this?
Yeah. You're half a marathon hike around the bottom part of Martinique / like
St. Anne, and there's some beaches there. I guess there's some trails. It makes a big loop.
Bosun is really ready to go.
Yeah, he is. It's 13 miles around, or 13 point something, a little over half a marathon. So we're gonna try to get started early because it's gonna get really hot.
So we found a map. This will be helpful. Bosun's being naughty this morning. We are here, and our boat is like anchored right here. Our dinghy's like right here. Our big boat is up here, so we dinghied down here this morning on the dinghy dock, and then have been walking along this, and we're going to walk all the way down, around, up, over, all the way over to here, all the way up.
Did we do all of that?
And I believe, and I think, oh no, I don't know.
That seems a lot. I don't know. It's 13 miles. I think it's this.
Maybe it's this one. Maybe I'm being a little bit exaggerated.
I think this is 13 and a half miles right here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey.
We'll see. I can't remember.
Stop destroying the foliage.
Yeah, I know. He's eating like every plant. Bosun's gonna get pinched. There's a ton of crabs. There he goes. He's chasing one down now.
Look at all the crabs.
I guess if he gets bit on the lip, we just pull it off of him.
There's some big ones.
Look at them all.
Oh, you're
Bosun. Bosun, leave him.
Bosun?
This guy's taking a stick with him.
Yeah, build home. One of these bigger ones to grab you.
Bosun, leave it. Leave the crabbies. This is their home. Gotta make it around that. Oh, you found an alternative path. Okay, we don't have to get wet. Go, go, go.
Oh, bugs everywhere. Go, go, quick.
Oh, it's buggy. Ah! Gross. I'm running.
Oh, careful, bug. Careful, bug.
This is nice.
Ah, unbelievable. Well done, France. Martinique, whatever.
It's a pretty hike. Look at all these roots of this big red tree. Holy moly. Sailboat out there. Hear the lapping of the waves. Beautiful shaded trail.
This is the better part of cruising.
I know, I love this stuff. The outdoor part of it all.
Yeah. Ironically, the not water part of it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the seawater, like the salt life, but I'm equally as excited to do all the hikes on these islands.
Martinique, well done, Martinique.
Bosun went off the trail and found himself the ocean. You're gonna get swept away. Come on, we have fresh water. Let's go. And I'll get you some. You thirsty? Alright, so I think we're following the Grand Anse des Salines and the Anse Trabad
I think that's correct.
trail.
Yes.
And then it shows you where you're at, gives you a compass, a scale for meters. Cool? Yep. So we keep going this way. It's a cloudy, misty, rainy day, but still, this is just amazing. Hey, Bosun, come on. Let's go. It's slick, you said?
I don't think so. Right there, right there, I thought that. Oh, Bosun, he's walking on the channel part.
You're gonna have to swim, buddy. Swim, Bosun, swim. Can't believe he's doing it. Everyone's crossing.
Come here, Bosun. Well, good job, Bosun. You made it. Ready to tell? We are back into civilization, I guess, a little bit, on a road that eventually will lead us back to where the dinghy is, but we still got a ways to go. have bottles?
Yeah. We're resting on the side of the road, sidewalk, because Bo called it quits. He said, I'm not going any further for now. He's too tired, he's too hot. He's had plenty of food and water, but he's been running the whole trail, so he's basically ran 13 miles at this point, whereas we've walked it, so I think he's starting to feel it a little bit more than us at this point. So we're letting him rest, and we have some shade under a tree, so we'll stay here until he has a little bit more energy. We made it.
Yeah.
13 and something miles later, and Bosun is pretty much dead to the world. He was trying to take a nap on top of the fuel tank as we untied the dinghy and realized he doesn't fit, so now he's just holding on here, staring at the water. Anyway, back to the boat, eat some lunch, pass out.
Yeah.
Ready for a nap.